or quietly and follow along. At any point, click the pause button to catch up or take a break. Okay, today we're going to be making these awesome dragon eyes. I really like this one. I tried two different techniques. This one on my left with the pink and purples, I used these are both made out of Model Magic, but the one on the left, I mixed marker to get these awesome pastel colors and my color. The one on the right, I kept white, but I used watercolor to paint. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you two different techniques to get awesome dragon eyes. And the eye itself, we are going to be making, at least designing, and how different ways to sculpt the dragon eye. Okay, let's begin with the dragon eye itself. Here is our beveled piece. I'm going to place it on a sheet of scrap paper. I'm going to use a pen, or you can use a pencil. Make sure you hold that eye in place, push down really hard with your finger, so that we can get like a nice perfect circle. Next, what you're going to do is draw the pupil of the eye. I'm using Sharpie, a black marker, colored pencil, any black would be fine. For the pupil, I leave a little space from the top, a long curve coming down, and a long curve going the other way in the center. Now, you can do it two different ways. What I like to do is we can color it in all the way black, or you can leave like a little sliver of it white, like so, just to make it look like the light's reflecting. I'm going to lengthen my pupil just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Next, we need monochromatic colors. I always suggest monochromatic. They're colors that are next to one another in the color wheel. So I have purple, I have like more of a teal blue and a green. Your darker color looks best generally if it's on the outside of the eye. So with our darker color, we're going to go back and forth. You can even go over your line and rotate your eye as you go around. Now you're probably wondering, why would I go in this direction? It'd be so much faster to color this way. Well, what you are doing as you're drawing, you are creating the texture of the eye and how the eye color naturally blends if you would look into somebody's eye. The iris, which is the colored part of the eye, kind of bursts the color together, and we want to show that effect in our dragons. Okay, and then I just like to kind of go around the edge of my circle, giving it kind of a little bit more dimension. Next color is going to be in the middle. I layer my color pencil, so now I'm going to go over slightly with the purple with my teal color. Again, giving it kind of that burst effect all the way around. My favorite color eyes, just personally, are these orange and yellow. A lot of reptiles have like these green colored eyes as well. And then I'm just going to kind of color over a little bit of the purple to fill in some of those spaces between the purple. And last, it is green. There we go, that's our dragon eye. I'm going to then cut out that circle. Now when you cut out your circle, you're going to want to stay more on the outside of your line. It's better in this case to have your eye too big than too small, because if it's too small, it will show through your glass circle. There we go. Okay, I have a glue stick. It can be purple glue as well, it doesn't really matter. On your eye, you're just going to go over the colored part. You don't need it super thick, just enough so that your glass bevel will stick to your eye, just like that. Okay. Now we're going to begin with the actual dragon eye, like the body itself. What I did is I have a pack of Model Magic. I literally cut in half. This is 1 ounce. 1/2 will be for the details. The other half will be for the base of our eye, which I pulled out of the bag. Okay, this, what I do is I like to roll it into a ball. Okay, you can use a table or your hands. And then I just really push it down. First push, I then pull and pinch kind of towards the edge so it makes more of a diamond shape. Push down again, kind of start to flatten your edges, give a little pull if you'd like more of a narrower eye. And I keep pushing it down until it's like half the size of my pinky, maybe a little less. Okay, if you really want a reference, I do so it's about a little less than a colored pencil width. Okay, you don't want it too flat like a pancake, but you also just want like a nice base in general. Okay, now this other half of our Model Magic eye, I pull out of the bag, and we're going to cut it into 4 parts. So in half, and then in half again, and in half. 2 of these squares will be for details. The other 2 I use for like the eyelid. Okay, that's gonna hold this eye in place. So grab your eye, center it, or kind of put it where you want on your dragon eye. You could have a little more forward, a little more back, but we generally want it in the center of our dragon's eye. Even push it down a little bit to hold it in place. These are gonna be the eyelid that comes over. So I start to kind of flatten, roll it in my hands, and I pull and stretch it. Make it a little flat. I'm gonna go over the top. Okay, and I'm gonna slowly connect it to the base of our Model Magic and over the top of that eye. There we go. Okay. Now let's do the bottom. I'm just gonna pull and flatten a little bit, give it a little curve, start to shape it to your eye, and then attach it to your base and the top lid. Okay, I just kind of, once I have it attached, then you can pull it away from your eye. Don't worry about this part of the eye. I like to leave that open because in general, our eyes have that space there. It doesn't need to be drastic, but just enough. Okay. And then slowly blend it into the rest of your base. Okay, you can leave these creases. Personally, I think that's kind of cool. All eyes have some crease in them. Gives your dragon more details. If you want more of a lid, you can push around the edge. Okay, and there's different ways we can add texture with basic tools later. Now I'm going to start to show you different ways you can add scales and details, but also the color effect like we did in this pink and purple dragon. So I'm going to grab a piece of Model Magic. I'm going to cut in half because I'm going to show you next how to dye it with marker and do this awesome twist effect that we have above and below these 2 eye examples. With your marker, you can use any color. I'm suggesting Crayola. Praying markers work just as well. And what you're going to do is I just color simply on it, fold, smush, and color. Fold, smush, and color. Now the more you do this, the more darker your tone will be. And then fold one more time, and then start to push and blend it together. You can roll it, you can mix, as you're merging that clay together at that marker, you're gonna see it's gonna change tint and tone. I like to just roll it, fold, roll, and fold. That seems to be the fastest way I found. If you don't completely blend it, you'll get this awesome marble effect, which I think I'm gonna go with for today. If you don't like the marble effect, you can simply just keep mixing it together. For our dragon's eye, what we're gonna do is, or this twist, I like to roll it into kind of these long snakes. And I'm going to, I guess I can do these 2 colors, why not? Kind of a cool effect. Careful, the Model Magic sticks together. So I'd roll mine out so they're just a little bit skinnier. It depends how thick you want your twist. You can have it as thick as you want or thin. I like to work it just a little thinner. Place your coils together on one end and then slowly bring them together to the other. Grab both sides, left and the right, and with one hand give it a twist. And then as I twist along, I just use my other hand to get the other side nice and evenly. You can stretch it, and you can put this anywhere on your eye you like. I'm gonna put mine over the top here. And once it sticks, it's pretty much down, and then just kind of tap it in place. You can twist the ends and do cool decorative things, whatever you prefer for your dragon. Okay. And lift it off the table. There we go. Push it more towards the edge for this one. Okay. Awesome. Now let's talk about some scales. You can do scales all different ways. My favorite scales that make it look more real is doing just small little dots and pressing. They take a lot of time, but it's totally worth it. And then I'm going to show you how I made these more spikes. Okay, let's start with the spikes. I just break off a piece, roll it. I always like to start with a kind of a sphere shape myself. I pinch one side and then I press. Pinch and press. Kind of pulling it and then pressing it down. And then all I do is I simply just attach it and press it on again. I like to have a variety of sizes that kind of go with my dragon eyes, so I might make this next one a little bit bigger. Okay. Once again, roll it into a ball, pinch, press, pushing down, pinch and kind of pull, press, and then you can attach it. And don't be afraid to overlap them a little bit. I personally think that's kind of cool. And then I'm gonna make this one a big one. I definitely would stick with like an odd number of spikes. It makes it look a little more realistic, a little more organic. There we go. And I'm just gonna press that all in. And every so often, I just like to kind of pick mine up from the table surface and make sure it sticks on there. I'm gonna just pull a few more. I'm gonna do 5, I think, just to kind of complete that curve on this dragon eye. So pinch, press, pinch, press. There we go. And then pinch, press, pinch, press. This one can have a smaller spike kind of up there. Okay, so now my next favorite way to texture is literally just taking a pinch, teeny bit, rolling it into a teeny ball, and then pressing it either on the table or in your fingers. And this is how I make the scales. And the scales can go anywhere you want on your design. I like this to kind of cover up my seams if you didn't blend them. And I'm gonna start over here. You may not be able to quite see it, it's kind of on the edge, but I kind of overlap them. There we go. And the way you wanna do this is you generally wanna start, you can work in to out or out to in or in to out. Just think about as you're laying your scales, which direction that they look like they're gonna be coming from. There we go. All right. Got some bigger scales over here. To me, the smaller ones just add a little bit more texture. I'll put a few more above this so you can see it. There we go, and it's starting to just look a little bit more real to me. And then I'm gonna keep adding my scales, but before I speed up the video, I'm gonna show you other techniques with basic tools you have right in front of you. You can take an edge of a colored pencil and press it in to different sections. And that is one way also to get you kind of some scales, and you can kind of just do it lightly and tap it, and that kind of roughs up your model magic texture making. Okay, the next technique I'm going to show you is how you can add more texture and color using your marker on your dragon eye. And then I will be showing you also how I use watercolor to add color. With the marker, I just simply dab up and down, and it creates like these little circles. They look like scales. You can go pretty deep, or you can just go lightly on the top. Okay. All right. Now with the watercolor, what I like to do is I like to do like kind of some black in the cracks. That way it kind of fills it in, but also gives it kind of a shadow and more dimension all at the same time. Some black. Don't worry about it seeping in. Always wipe it off while it's wet. If you're really unsure, just go back in with some water to blend it. So like in the eyelid, this crack, and we can cover it up if you don't like the black with more different colors, so don't ever worry. I'm just getting it all in there. Okay. And here's a really good example of all the great, things and reason why I would like to do that. Okay. Here, I'm gonna paint mine. I'm gonna go with like a nice blue for this dragon, a little teal as well, so a little green over the top. Yeah, and you'll see that the black kind of mixes with that blue. This technique overall gives your dragon a little bit more aged effect, like he's wore out or has been in a fight. Just some thick skin that's been through fire, which I really kind of enjoy about this. Now, as you're using the watercolor, just be aware that you might pick up some of the color, like here my black, I might drag a little bit, or it might mix in with my blue. No worries. I personally like it. To me, it looks a little bit more realistic. Okay. I just keep going over the areas like here, the water and the pigment kind of naturally pools in those cracks as well, which I really, really like. And I enjoy that this is coming to like a lighter gray, like a blue gray. It's kind of cold down here at this half, which I like. I'm going to try to really get in those cracks because if you have any like random white cracks, it kind of makes it look less convincing that it's real. I'm actually going to try to get some more in those cracks. So I really like how this blue is up here and a little bit up on that scale. So I'm going to enhance that by adding some more blue. Okay. I always like to start with like a little bit of an accent color too. Throw a little bit of a, off color in there. Which for me, in this one, it's going to be green. And here's what I do with the accent color. I put it on the top of the scales. Anything I really want to stand out a bit, so at the top of this, maybe even some of these scales, I'll just kind of dab over the top. I love how these purple dots stayed. Even maybe a little bit on twist. On a brighter color, I just go with less pigment in the watercolor. I'm even really liking this. I think I'm going to go a little bit further and add yellow. Get more of that brighter green. And to finish up, I'm going to just touch up with some more blue and green on some scales, more towards the back and the undertone here. Okay, and that is how I painted my dragon's eye and colored it using not only marker, but watercolor as well. What we do next is, artists, we let this completely dry. The watercolor doesn't take very long, maybe an hour, if that. And then we go over whether you use either just the marker technique fully and mix it and blend it in, or if you did watercolor, what we're gonna wanna do is take Mod Podge and go over everything except the eye. That will like harden and create like a nice shiny coat of your finished piece. One last note as well, make sure you go around all these edges because it is a 3D thing on the wall, which is going to look amazing. All right, thank you so much for watching and good luck with your dragon eyes.